Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Meg Turney.
Microsoft recently said no to an Xbox 1.5, but new evidence shows there might be a revision of their console coming after all, and maybe a new Xbox sooner than we think.
This information comes by way of wireless technology filings placed with the FCC, which may hint at not one, but two new Xbox machines coming, with at least one of them being a new version of the Xbox One.
Now, the filing was found by user Ekim, who dug up the goods from the FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, for NeoGAF. The FCC must approve any new tech that transmits wireless data, which means the companies have to submit them before they come to public release.
Yes, and it seems the FCC has published two filings from Microsoft concerning a new version of the Xbox One wireless chip. The original version was filed back in 2013 with the Xbox One. The console is listed as the FCC ID 1525. We'll come back to that number in a second, so jot it on down.
Okay, big deal. You might be saying they're changing the wireless chip, but put on your detective hat, because we're going sleuthing.
Make sure it's made of tinfoil. Looking a little bit closer at the filing shows that this might be a change for the console altogether.
Now, part of this is because the two new filings, 16.8.2 and 16.8.3, have NDA-protected documents associated with them, which will be made public at a later date. On filing 16.8.3, one of the protected documents listed is a revised version of the user manual for filing number 15.2.5. Remember, that's the original Xbox One filing from 2013.
You might be going a little cross-eyed with all those numbers.
We don't blame you.
Yeah, we are too. But the important thing here is that the user manual for 16.8.3, whatever it is a brand new version of the user manual for the Xbox One. And since no one looks twice at manuals anymore, there's not much cause to update it unless something significant has changed.
Get rid of the button that turns the thing on and off when you look at it funny. That's the big change, right?
You talk
Please?
to it, you
Come
say.
on. Yeah?
Maybe. The NDA thing, by the way, is curious also. The date when this document's secrecy expires is June 25th of this year, which would be very nicely timed around E3.
Now, something to keep in mind here is that this isn't just the typical leaked, documents or patent browsing you find on the internet, because patents, while really interesting and can give you a bit of a guide, don't necessarily mean a company is making the technology that they filed for. They just want to keep anyone else from doing that technology if the idea is interesting enough.
If we're lucky, we'll never see that pill-shaped concept from Nintendo's rash of patents.
Instead, it will be a square!
Yeah, put it in your pants. Unlike patents, by the way, FCC filings are meant for products that are actually in testing and are intended to be released in the United States. So it does seem to strongly indicate that there is some kind of new Xbox One coming in the very near future.
Holiday, maybe? I mean, platforms love releasing for holiday, plus you gotta do something to keep up with the PS 4.5 and the NX, otherwise you become that old and busted afterthought.
Nobody wants to be old and busted. By the way, the timing totally checks out. The truck that's bringing them is here.
Old and busted, new hot.
Yes. The Xbox One, which released in November of 2013, had its FCC filing, 1525. Keep remembering that number.
Pop quiz later on.
Yes, that came in June of that year. So.
There are a couple of reasons why this is leading to speculation of a new version of Xbox One, not just a minor partial revision. First, if this were simply a swap of the new version of the console's wireless chip for the old one, there'd really be no reason to update the user manual unless you're changing the name of the console, or really, you've got to change something significant to warrant that.
Absolutely, and even if the change was a small one to the user manual, there'd be no need to classify your documents. The timing of it is very interesting, of course, like we said, because it comes so close to E3.
So that's filing 16.8.3. The other device under filing 16.8.2 is a little bit of a different matter. It's using the same wireless technology that 16.8.3 is using, and also has protected documents. However, it's got a brand new user manual, meaning it's not associated with the Xbox One.
Which is leading some to speculate that this second filing could be a brand new console from Microsoft altogether.
Woohoo! Last week, the rumor mill sprung to life about a LinkedIn sighting of a Microsoft employee mentioning Xbox Next. Please don't name it that. Don't name it the Next. That's the worst. No, don't do it. We are X. Even aside from us, this caused all sorts of buzz around whether or not this could be the name of the new Microsoft console, with all of us going, please, no, don't do it. So cheesy. That's like a 90s energy drink.
I just want it to be like a new integration with X Japan.
Just name it with extreme and leave off the E at the end, because that's how extreme you are. You're extreme.
Microsoft has since debunked those rumors with a statement saying Xbox Next was an old internal team name for a group that worked on releasing Xbox One and is not related to a future console.
But that's not actually a denial that a new Xbox is in the works.
Yeah.
Just that it won't have a stupid name.
Yeah.
Tricks in Microsoft, we see through it though.
Yeah, we see through your games.
You can't stop our speculation.
That's right. Does, however, seem unlikely that Microsoft would announce a brand new console so soon, especially if they're announcing a new version of the Xbox One, which the documents do seem to actually indicate. Plus, the documents for this unknown device go public at the end of July, which is kind of weird timing because E3 is the month before.
Right, it's more likely that this is some other kind of Microsoft device unrelated to Xbox. Maybe it's something to do with Windows 10?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But back to the new version of the Xbox One.
Yes.
Whatever it might be. If Microsoft is incorporating a new version of the Xbox One wireless technology into this new machine, it is incredibly unlikely that they'd stop the entire manufacturing process to change just one part. So if they're not changing one component, maybe they're changing them all.
Two. Why not Zoidberg?
Yes.
That could be, that means this might be either an Xbox One Slim or even a device to compete with the rumored and all but confirmed PS4K, 4.5, whatever you want to call it, which is supposedly releasing this holiday.
Phil Spencer has said he's not interested in an Xbox 1.5 in the past, but that doesn't mean that Microsoft would be opposed to releasing some sort of new version of the Xbox.
I mean, look how many versions of the Xbox 360 there were. There were a lot. Considering that Sony is getting 2 mid-cycle hardware refreshes in the form of PS4K or 4.5, should we call it PS4K.5? And PlayStation VR plus Nintendo's NX whenever that mystery box finally comes out. Microsoft is in a little bit of a tricky situation this generation. To stay competitive, they probably gotta release some decently significant iteration of the hardware, especially because everyone is calling them up short already.
Yeah, and as for what that is, Microsoft certainly has a few options at their disposal. The mammoth size of the Xbox One makes it a prime candidate for a slim version of the console, please. It's also possible that Microsoft could release the long-rumored all-digital version of the Xbox One with no disk drive and slimmed-down components.
Can we call it the Xbox One half, because it's half the size? Yeah. Of course, if Microsoft really wants to stay competitive with the other players out there, they could break Phil Spencer's word and release a version of the Xbox One that upscales to 4K and is perhaps beefed up for Oculus Rift support, or, something anyway.
Yeah, right now their current strategy is all about integrating with PC, promoting things like cross-platform play with that, and potentially with PlayStation 4, and really even building the brand of Xbox with gamers. And while that's all, yes, well and good, it doesn't really necessarily translate to sales.
It wouldn't be the first time a company's gone back on its word. Shocking, we know.
Yeah.
And certainly would help to balance the scales back towards Microsoft's favor in the long term. They've got to do something, because that scale is way off right now.
Absolutely, and considering that we haven't heard almost anything about dev kits being in the wild for an upgrade like this, it could be kind of unlikely. But by now, we would have gotten some word that there's an Xbox One hardware making its way to developers, and that doesn't seem to be the case, so who knows?
Right, the most likely scenario is it's Xbox One Slim, as tantalizing as those other options are. But you never know. We've seen many more surprising things happen at E3 in recent years. Maybe Microsoft has actually managed to keep a secret this time around and will unveil 2 new Xboxes to the world in June.
Maybe
One's actually got a hard drive in it.
Yeah, maybe after that one we'll have some Xbox exclusives, because, they need more of those.
What do you guys think of the rumors of potentially 2 new Xboxes or 2 new types of hardware in the works for Microsoft? Do you think we'll get an Xbox One half this year, 1.5, 1886? Let us know in the comments.
For more rumors about Microsoft's console plans, like this video and subscribe to The Know.
It's funny because 1886 was a PlayStation exclusive.
Good jokes. Honestly, all this is telling me is we absolutely have to be in the press conference for Microsoft, because when
They give them for free?
Yeah, they gave everybody in the press conference last year, or with the Xbox 360 bow tie, they got that one for free.
Was there for that? Working for Xbox at the time? Didn't get one.
Bullshit! I want mine!
Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm Meg Turney.
Microsoft recently said no to an Xbox 1.5,
In
but
Russia.
new evidence